Hey folks, we are almost done with our holiday winter routine. We are just days away from launching Adventure 2025, which we are very excited about. And I thought this would be the perfect time to show you how to set up SOTAmāt. I'll show you how easy it is to get your SOTAmāt account set up so that you can spot off-grid. My name's Mike, Kilo Echo Zero, Victor India Mike, and this is the Travelin Ham.
Okay folks, here's the deal.
I'm at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. This is gonna be a special one of the most intense trails. This is the operating station.
That's a bear.
Wow, do I really look like a guy with a plan?
The traveler has
I just do things.
This is a huge, beastly, bulging man. Plates were from Kansas.
Okay folks, so I'm recording on the screen here. So I'll just invite you right into my laptop here, and we're going to look at how we set this up. You start, of course, by going to, we're at SOTAmāt.com. You do need to register and get yourself, get your call sign logged into the system. I think you've probably done that enough on enough different websites. I don't need to show you how to create an account and log in. But once you do, you go over to this section here called HF Preparation. And we'll start with the frequencies and modes. And we'll see what I have set up there. I'm probably going to review what I have and change a lot of it. So pan down a little bit. And what you have here are these settings for individual bands. So you'll see here on the very top one here, it says SSB. So these frequencies are in the phone portion of the band. When it says base kilohertz, that is where, that will be your very first frequency. So at the low end of the band. Here we got 7.178. So that's the lowest that you would want to be in the phone portion of the 40 meter band for general in the United States. Got to put that in there too. So my bottom is 7.178, and then I take 1,000 hertz steps up from there. So every kilohertz. And what that's going to do is it's going to create a frequency starting at 7.178 at every kilohertz. So I'll have 0.179. 0.180, 0.181, and it's going to go all the way up 122 steps, and that will get me up to 7.300. Okay, so that's how that works. And when you get that set up, the way it'll go is you'll have a wheel. You know, when you're using your phone, you'll have a wheel at the bottom that you can flip through and select your frequency. This is what sets that up. Okay, so the second one here, you can tell it's in the CW portion of the band. I've got it started at 14.025, and it goes up in 500 hertz steps. So it'll be 0255, 026. Now, I can tighten these up if I want, and my steps can be smaller, but we'll see here in a little bit why we may not want to do that. Same thing for, you can see I've got it set up for a phone portion of the 20 meter band and the phone portion of the 15 meter band. I think what I'm going to want to add now is I'm going to put some CW in the 15 meter portion of the band. Hang on just a second. A little binder here. I've got the band plan for 15 meters. I'm going to start and go from 21.025 to 21.200. Okay, so I'm going to do a new entry. I'm going to change this to CW. You can see what all your other choices here are. I don't even know what DV is. AM, data, other, alert CW, QRT. I don't even know what a lot of that does. we're going to start, the base frequency is where it starts. We're going to do 21.025. Okay. And like the others, I'm going to do 500 hertz for CW band. And what's that mean? I'm going to go from 25 to 200. So that's 175 times 2, because it'll be in half kilohertz steps. So I say 175, so that should be 350 steps. And then I will say, okay. If I wanted to do more, then I could say apply and add another one. So now I got CW portion on 15 meters as well. I could also add one on 40 meters. I tend not to use that as much. And the thing you got to keep in mind, at least for me, this is more of a kind of an emergency situation where I can't spot myself. So I'm gonna limit my bands a little bit so I can go ahead and get more parks preloaded in there. Okay, so you can see here on this part of the screen, I've got 956 frequencies in there. Now what you see down here is a calculation of all the combinations, and this is not updated since I did that. So I think if I refresh and pan back down, yeah, you can see since I added some frequencies, this box has turned red. Okay, that's the number of possible combinations of my 956 frequencies times the 1,500 parks, this number right here that I had preloaded from my last stretch of traveling, I think from Smoky Mountain National Park back to Kansas. Now, your limit is 1 million combinations. So that's why this is red here. I have too many. But no matter, I can come back. I may come back and trim these bands some after I add a few states. But what I'm going to do now is we're gonna change the parks, and I will probably reduce that number. Maybe we'll get 1,000 parks and 1,000 frequencies, and that'll get us, that's about 1 million. So I'm going to go back up to HF preparation, and I'm going to select POTA locations. Now, this is the part where people really get hung up. They want to say, well, I don't know what parks I'm going to activate all the time. I don't know what frequencies I'm going to use. You're just setting up possibilities. You're going to say what frequencies, what range of frequencies I would use, and which states I would be activating POTA in. And it basically creates a database of all those possibilities. So you can see here, I've got Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Missouri, and Ohio. So I'm basically loading all of the POTA entities for those states. Okay, so I'm not going to need any of those. I'm not even going to need Kansas in there, because when we leave, we're getting the hell out of Dodge. I do not need any Kansas in there. We won't be hanging around. So I'm going to select Illinois, delete. There is no undo. Thank you for the warning. I'm deleting. Indiana, don't need that one anymore, deleted. Kansas, deleted. So when I get to a stretch of travel, I'm just going to load as many states as I can. And then when I leave that last state, I'll just change the states that I'm going through. For those of you that are more stationary, this part's going to be a lot simpler. If I was just here in Kansas, I'd probably just load Kansas and then maybe leave some space. So if I knew I was taking a trip somewhere, maybe I could load up one more state. Or at that point, I could just, I could have Kansas. I could have all the frequencies I'd possibly use till I get up to 1 million. And if I'm going to travel, before I go, I can just delete Kansas. It's going to delete all the park possibilities for Kansas. And let's say I'm going to Colorado, I'll just pick Colorado, and it'll plug all those parks in. You can change them real easily. So, you don't have to worry about deleting a state and bringing it back in. It's a piece of cake. So we're going to go new entry. The first state I'm going to worry about, let's see. Let's just type it in because that's going to be a big list. US-New Mexico. That's the one. Okay, let's apply and add new. Then I'm going to add US-Arizona. Apply and add new. US-Nevada. Apply and add. I think this is going to put me over doing this. What happened? It didn't clear. It didn't clear. Oh, I didn't select it. That's why. Okay, and then I'm going to add here US, California. This will probably put me over. We'll see. All right, close that out. So there's my states: Arizona, California, New Mexico, and Nevada. Those are the states I'm planning on visiting next. I'm going to pan down here, and I'm going to have to hit refresh. That's still the old number from the last states that I had loaded. It might be less, actually. Oh, look at that. Okay, this is great. 688,320 combinations. So you take all the parks in those 4 states, multiplied by all the possible frequencies that I put in, I'm still under 700,000. That's pretty good. So the other thing then, I can add SOTA. So let's go in here. Let's push our luck. We're going to add all the same states again, but we're going to do SOTA. I probably won't do any SOTA in New Mexico. Let's just start in Arizona. And then maybe I can get those next 3 states in. Nothing matched US-AZ. Oh. Okay. These are SOTA designators here. So I guess New Mexico's 5? I think New Mexico's 5. 5 area caller is at 7. W5. Oh boy. Is there a W5N? Okay, W5N. All right, this the SOTA part looks like it's a little more complicated. I guess I haven't done this for SOTA as much as I thought I had. But you've got to have, it'll have like W5N, I believe that is New Mexico. Because there's Texas, there's Arkansas, Louisiana, maybe Mississippi. None of those start with N. Oklahoma. So I think New Mexico's a 5. Is in 5 land. So W5N is likely New Mexico, but then it's got all the regions or the county designators. Well, I probably wasn't talking about doing New Mexico anyway. Arizona is definitely 7. So it's probably like Coconino County. Gosh. I think I'm going to hold off on loading up some SOTAs now. And if I want to do a SOTA, and there's a good chance I'm going to be out of range, I will probably just come back and add it in. So the fact that I've got some space in here with 700,000 possibilities is good. But let's continue to press our luck. I'll go back to frequencies and modes. And... oh yeah, just pan down. Let's add, just for good measure, let's add some CW on 40 meters. So 40 meters for a general, talking about 7025. Let's go for 500 hertz steps again. You know, I did it all the way up to 200. That's probably a waste. Let's go up to 073. So 73 minus 25, that's 68, 48. 48 steps times 2, 96. I may go back to my other CW frequencies and do that. I don't use those high-end frequencies. So once I get up to the FT8 frequencies, I don't think I need to go any higher than that. And that'll save me That'll save me some space. So I'm just going to go 96. So that'll go 48 up from 25, which is going to be a 33 to 73. Okay, 073. I think that might even be, it's not FT8, but it's some other digital mode, but whatever, that's good enough. So we'll say okay. And then looks like I did it right on 20 meters. I'm going up 90 steps, half a click per, so that's 45, which would get me up to 70. I think that's fine. I'm going to do the same now for 15 meters. So I'll change that to 90 from 350. So we'll go edit that one. So all that's saying is now it's going to add in 90 steps at 500 hertz increments from 025. So it's going to go up 45 kilohertz, and that will get me up to 21.070. That's pretty good. So we'll make that change. Okay? All right. Now we'll have to refresh this. One thing would be nice is if this kind of just automatically refreshed. Hey, look, only 570,000. That's pretty good. And I've got 15 meters, I've got 20 meters, I've got 40 meters. Again, and it's an emergency. I don't think I need to put 10 in there. 15 and 20 typically does everything I want to do. And I don't want to put a work band in there because then if I'm out with my in-fed half wave, I won't have that anyway. You know, I don't want to put in everything I could possibly use, just what I would need if I'm in a tight spot and I can't spot myself and I just need to make some contacts. 15, 20, and 40 if it's in the evening could get it done there. Or if I need to do some serious invis, speaking of tight spots. Let's go back to POTO locations, and I'll add a state. We're going to go right up the coast. I'm going to add USOR, Oregon. We'll get him in. Let's see what that does. 570,000. I'll hit refresh. 845,000. I'm going to keep it at that. And then if I need to add summits, because summits breaks it down to a finer granularity than the states. It goes down into the regions within the states. I think I can add summits then as needed without adding on too many combinations. So I'll sit here just below 850,000. That still gives me some room. So if I'm in Nevada and I know the mountain I'm going to activate, I can just download that region, and there shouldn't be, 150,000 divided by 100? Would it be 1,500 peaks? 15, yeah, there'd be 1,500 peaks in one region. I should be fine. That math should check out. Okay, so that's it in the website itself. Now we're not quite done, because the magic of all this is that you're able to spot yourself with your phone when it's offline. So what we then have to do is we have to go on our phones, which I'm recording on mine right now, and we take this data list that we've created and we download it into the app on our phone. At that point, you've got it, it's stored in your device, and you don't need that internet connection anymore to access all this information. So let's review. What have I had to do here? I've had to know what state I'm going to be in and what frequencies I might use. And again, for most of you that are stationary, it's going to be pretty easy. If I lived in the Kansas City area, okay, I'd load Kansas City and Missouri. If I went down in Oklahoma quite a bit to visit family or for work, I might add Oklahoma. There's plenty of room on here to do that and still get a number of good ranges of frequencies to give you enough possibilities. So, a lot of people really worry about this setup process. Well, how am I going to know? How am I going to know what park I'm going to be in when I don't have cell coverage? What I have set up now through Oregon, I've got, even traveling quite a bit, I've got everything I'm going to need probably through July. So from February through July, every park I'm going to need is going to be in my phone once I download it. I'll set that up and we'll record that too. I'll get the GoPro out and record it while I'm sitting on my phone, and I can record on that screen. But as you can tell, it's not hard. You don't have to be real specific. Just got to know your frequencies and states if you do POTA or SOTA. Again, just a really slick system. There is no reason not to have this arrow in your quiver. Let's do the final step and update the phone. Okay guys, last bit. We're going to update the app here. So I got all my ham apps here on one screen. Right here at the bottom, got SOTAmāt. Let's see, I haven't done this in a while, so I'll probably fumble through it a little bit. Your configuration was changed on the SOTAmāt server. Cool, it knows that. But this device's offline copy hasn't been updated. Please refresh your offline configuration into the Setup tab. Step 2. Okay, so I'll go to the Setup tab here. Step 2, log in and load configuration. Load configuration from server. Okay. Your configuration on the website is done. Okay, let's test it, see if it works. Okay, so as you can see here on the upper corner of the screen, I'm in airplane mode and Wi-Fi is off. There's no signal getting to this phone. So I go into and open SOTAmāt and I say I want to spot POTA. Let's say I'm going to be at Grand Canyon National Park, okay? Location. Okay, and I got a scroll wheel here with all the states that I entered at the bottom. All right, so I'm picking Arizona. Park ID, 0030. Okay. Base frequency. Well, when I'm at Grand Canyon at the bottom, I go voice. Let's go 20-meter voice. Select a frequency. Now here's this wheel I created because I started it at 14.225. Now I've got this wheel all the way up to 346. I miscalculated a little bit. That's all right. But I can choose any of these frequencies. I'm usually up pretty high. Let's say I pick 337. Here we go. I'm ready to go. Then all I have to do is hit the transmit button. And it's on HF FT8 audio. Then there's network and SOTAcat. I don't even know what those are. I don't care. FT8, so simple. So what I would do in the field is I got my microphone. I just put the phone right up to the microphone. There's this volume level here at the bottom where you set the volume for your setup. I'd use the meter in my radio to make sure I'm not overdriving the radio with the audio coming out of the phone. So I have that set. It was 30% in my case because I'm holding it right by the microphone. There could be other things going on. Wind could be blowing a little bit. I want it to be as clean as possible. And you hit transmit. It's waiting. It's syncing up with FT8. And it transmits. There you go. I am, if I was actually transmitting this, I'd be getting spotted right now. There's a few new things on here. I don't remember this GPS assist that says pick park. So that's cool. Must download the optional Summit and Park databases. Okay, well, I didn't do that, and I'm fine with that. There are also messages that you can program in here. Again, they're pre-programmed messages. So when I hiked into Grand Canyon, I made 3 potential messages to send to my wife. One that just says, hey, we're at the bottom, we're doing fine. Another said, we're at the bottom, we're having some issues, but we're okay. And another said, please send help. We're at the bottom, please send help. So at least I could send some sort of generic message if I needed to. That's it, guys. That's all it takes to get that set up. There's no reason to fear that process. It is not inconvenient. You do not have to be specific. You've got up to 1 million different combinations you can load into your database for your frequencies or the states or the SOTA regions that you might be activating. If I ever suggest SOTAmāt anywhere online, I always get the comment that says, yeah, but you got to set it. It's got to be set up beforehand. Piece of cake, guys. Do it. Have it sitting there in your phone so that when you are activating in the field with no signal, you can get spotted just like that. And that can be really key for certain activations where you've got the narrow time window. When I activated the Canyon from the bottom, I had this battery to activate with. This was going to get me, as we've tested out here in the field and verified, about 1 hour and 15 minutes. So that's not a lot of time. I can't spend time down there on that mission. Yeah, I don't want to be sitting there for 30 minutes calling CQ wondering if someone's going to hear me. That's a good way to fail the whole mission. So being able to spot down there was absolutely key. And there's been a few others since then where I've got a fairly tight window. You don't always have all afternoon to activate, and you can sit there and call, and you got all your battery and all the time in the world. And if no one answers me for 1.5 hours, so what? I'm out in the park. You don't always have that kind of time window. It can be less than 1 hour. You got family with you sometimes. You want to make it as quick as possible. You know, let's not use spotting as a crutch. I certainly don't, but it is definitely a tool that can help you get things done more often. So your window doesn't have to be so big. It can be so big. All right, guys, that's a wrap. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments. I will be happy to answer them. Please, questions, comments, drop them down below. I'm Mike, Kilo Echo Zero Victor India Mike, and this is the Travelin Ham. 7-3.
Hey folks, it's Mike the Travelin Ham, and you can now support this channel by going to buymeacoffee.com, and you can buy the Travelin Ham a gallon of diesel. I'll have a link down in the description. Okay folks, here's the deal.
I'm at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. This is going to be a special. One of the most intense trails. This is the operating station.
That's a bear.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan?
The traveler has
I just do things.
He was a huge, beastly, bulging man. Plates were from Kansas.